Aloha! Hello, all my friends and family out there, especially on my Facebook page. I'm really excited today because I want to share with you the 20th anniversary of Magicneering Living, Laughing, and Loving Life. That's the first book I ever wrote and published, and it's all about you. All of you, especially those of you on my Facebook page that were part of this experience 20 years ago. And I have a long list of people. I can't thank everyone, but I wrote a lot of names down. I just want to thank you. So this video is going to be about you. I'm going to share some stories about you. And I want to thank you for all you've done for me in my life. And well, let's just get started. The very first thing I want to say is that I love you. I love you with all my heart. And even though we don't get to talk all the time, I still follow everything you do on Facebook. I see the birth of your newborn children. I watch you live your dreams, get married, grow up, have grandchildren, start projects, start movements, help people. And it's a thrill. It's a thrill a minute because I've been friends with you for so long. And we talked about these dreams coming true. You and I talked about them at some point. You emailed me, we met in person, we was on a chat line or something. Somehow we talked about your dreams and you've been living them. And I love you and I'm excited for you and I'm happy for you. So today, as I commemorate the anniversary of the book, Magicneering, and the movement, Living, Laughing, and Loving Life, I want to talk about you and what you've done. And I got a list. Let's go through it. I'm gonna get through as many as I can. I'll tell you right now, this is gonna be a long video, because I'm gonna try to get through to as many people as I can on my Facebook page, and even subscribers who have been on my YouTube page for the last 10 years. I haven't made a Magicneering video probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, and I haven't given a Magicneering workshop or seminar in probably about 20 years as well. So it's been a long time since I've spoke about this movement of living, laughing, and loving life. And I just thought on this anniversary of it, 20 years, would be a great time. And let me start out by telling you why I'm doing it now. Because at first I said, well, I think I'll just quietly commemorate the 20th anniversary by going back to the birthplace of where I wrote it, and that was in Lawrence, Kansas, which I did. It was great to go back to Lawrence, Kansas and see where I wrote Magicneering and visit all the places that inspired me. But then, just a few days ago, I got a friend request on Facebook, and I approved it. And it was from a young lady named Vicky, and she said, Mark, I read your book, and it's phenomenal. She said, Nancy gave it to me. And I was amazed because 20 years later, someone was still reading Magicneering. And the book was all about helping people and giving the book away to people so they would be living, laughing, and loving life. You know, they would be happy and help others. And someone who read the book gave it to her, one of my dear friends, Nancy. And I said, wow, the movement still lives, you know? And, 20 years later, this phrase, live, laugh, love, is part of the global lexicon. It's a phrase that people have adopted for themselves. They've started their own movements. They've written their own books. I mean, it's just amazing how much it grew. But it all started 20 years ago. And I'm going to tell you a little back history on that. And we'll go down the list of all the people that I can get to today that were part of that. They helped make this movement all around the world of live, laugh, love. So, first of all, I'm doing this informally here. And I want to start out by thanking my brothers and sisters. Right up front, I am the youngest of 8, and I have the most loving, most wonderful brothers and sisters. If I mention one of you, I have to mention all of you. So let me just say all of you, I love you, and I thank you for what you've done for me, what you've given to my life. I had this crazy, phenomenal memory. I don't know why, but I can remember everything about my life. It's picture perfect. I know what all my friends did in high school. I knew what all my brothers and sisters did growing up, the words they said, the places they went. I can remember it like a movie projector. It's just something that's part of my brain. And so I remember all the good things my brothers and sisters have done for me when I was young and as an adult, and I love you and I thank you. You were a big part of my life, and you're why I've been living, laughing, and loving life. all my life, and especially the last 20 years. Magicneering started in a little college town called Lawrence, and right away I met people in Lawrence, Kansas there that helped me with the book and the movement and get started, and there are neighbors and friends, and I just have a couple of names here that I have down. I wanted to share with them. I want to thank Michelle, a phenomenal fitness expert and trainer who was in graduate school at the time in Lawrence, Kansas, and I wanted to be part of her KU Fit team. She taught a lot of different classes and had great instructors, and I knew how to box. And I did karate, and I was always working out at the university. So I went to Michelle. I said, I want to work for you. I can teach. I said, I'm an expert in karate. I'm a boxer. She said, well, show me what you got. And I gave her a little audition. I did my moves. She said, okay, you're hired. So I went to work for her, and I later told her about, hey, I'm trying to put together this book, and it's all about living, laughing, and loving life. It's about being physically healthy, about thinking positive and helping people. She said, well, that's my philosophy. I'll help you. And we traveled all around the Midwest promoting the book, and we once even drove 500 miles out to Borders Bookstore in a little town out in Colorado Springs in Colorado there. And so, Michelle, thank you for all the work you did back in the day to help launch the movement. I still follow you on Facebook. You're still kicking and kicking high, and you're strong and healthy, and I love you. Friend Nancy. Oh, Nancy, you know who you are, and you know what you've done for me. She's the salt of the earth, heart of gold, a beautiful person. And she's like a second mom to me. And Nancy and her husband Bruce were influential in my life, entrepreneurial role models. They built great businesses together, and they inspired me because I wanted to be an entrepreneur like them. And Nancy and Bruce would have me come out to their company and just talk about Magicneering with their employees. They said, come on out, bring the happy book. That's what they called it, the happy book. And they would just give the book out to everyone that worked for them. And so when I got a Facebook request a few days ago from a friend of Nancy's that she gave the book to, it was amazing that 20 years later, people are still reading Magicneering. They're still giving the book away. They're still passing it along. That was our theme. You have a magic day, pass it on, because we would give the books away. We just gave so many books away. First, when they were self-published, I would just publish them. I would mail them out myself, whoever wanted them. Then when we had a publisher, I would buy the books from the publisher and just give them away because I wanted people to be happy. I wanted them to live their dreams. And I wanted people to help one another, support one another. That's what it was all about. If we could all live our dreams and all care about each other and just to try to help one another, the world would be a better place. And that was the concept behind living, laughing, and loving life. And it's still something that I believe 25 years later, it's been a part of my life. And it's been a part of my life because of all my friends and my family that have supported me and helped me. And I couldn't have made it without you. Let me tell you a little more about Lawrence, Kansas, and how this movement started. And you might have Live, Laugh, Love on your Facebook page and not even know where it came from. You may have purchased something from a store with that phrase on it. So let me tell you how it really came about. There is this wonderful lake out there in Lawrence, Kansas. It's 25 miles around. It's called Clinton Lake. It has a nice forest, wooded area. And I would go off and hike deep into the woods, and I would track deer, and I would look for golden eagles they had out there, beautiful, and bald eagles in the winter. And they even had seagulls. I kid you not, beautiful seagulls with blue-tipped wings. Looks like they were right from the Pacific Ocean. They'd be flying out west over the lake, and they were there certain times of the year. They would migrate out west, and all this fascinated me. I was fascinated with nature and with the trees and the plants and the streams and the fish and the lake. And I would dream about this stuff. I would just immerse myself into it. And then I would come back home after being out at the lake all day and hiking and riding my bike out there. And I would write poetry about those experiences. And then I wanted to share it with somebody because I was excited about it. So I would get online, and I met this wonderful friend of mine called Sandy. And Sandy had an innovative idea. She started something, this is way before Facebook. She started something called the Patchwork Poets. It was an online chat room, and you could read poetry in there. And she would let people come in and read their poetry, and no one would criticize you. You weren't talked about, you were encouraged. And she said, "Come on in, Mark, join my Patchwork Poets. You can read your poems in here." And I came in and I read poems, and people would say, "You know, your poems have a magical quality to them. I love the animals. I love the things you write about. It's all magical. It's great imagination." So they called it magic poetry. And Sandy gave me the nickname Magic Mark. I said, "Okay, I'm Magic Mark, and I'm writing magic poetry." And it was just fun. We were just having a good time, sharing it with one another. And that's how the whole movement started. People were laughing at my poetry. They loved that it was about loving life. And the phrase living, laughing, loving life began. And we began Magicneering and started writing a book. And so thank you, Sandy. I had to go a little longer on Sandy because she had a big part. But thank you, Sandy, for starting the patch. Thank you for being my friend all these years. I follow everything you do on Facebook. I love it. I love that your son has grown up over these years. He's grown and strong. I've watched your family grow up, your kids marry, and they're beautiful and wonderful. And keep living your dreams. Ben Bryant, Brian, I think your name at the patch was the Tree Elf, right? The Tree Elf. Yeah, Brian and PJ Ritchie. Although that was wonderful. You guys, you wrote beautiful poetry, and you're part of Patchwork Poets. Thank you as well. Let's see. Oh, Diane, you know who you are, Diane, in Mexico. I haven't talked to you in 20 years, but I watch you on Facebook. I love your family. Your son is magnificent. Tell him he's growing up, he's strong. I follow that whole story of what he's doing and what you guys are doing out there in Mexico. And I remember you and I talking about dreams, and what you wanted to accomplish in your life and your company and what you've done with it. It's just magnificent. I remember you, Diane, and I think it was Michelle. Yeah, Michelle. And we all went out and did an experiential learning, Magicneering experience out at a theme park. And it was cutting edge learning, and we're getting in touch with the magic of our inner child. That was phenomenal. So I'm glad to see that you're still, living, laughing, and loving life. Like I said, I don't get to talk to everyone on this list. Sometimes it's been like 10, 20 years, but I follow what you do. I follow what you do. I admire what you do, and I love you with all my heart. And I remember all the things that you've done for me. Definitely. So let's go on down the list. Karen in California, and there's a number of Karens, but Karen in California, I wanted to say thank you because when I finally got Magicneering published as an actual book, a hard copy, you were the very first person I mailed it to. You may not know this, but I remember you because I mailed it to you in California and I autographed it with the actual book. Because before then, I used to just publish the book at a Kinko's and bind it and just send it out. But I had an actual publisher, and they sent it to me, and I sent it to you. So, hey, Karen, thank you for being the first person to get the actual book. And I follow you, too, on Facebook. I love what you're doing. I love you and your family. Keep all the wonderful work going. Now I'm going to tell you about this special young lady, Carrie, from the UK. Now, Carrie, I have to highlight, lots of kids were involved in Magicneering, but Carrie was special because I used to draw a picture of a dolphin. Well, I drew a picture of a dolphin that became Debbie the Laughing Dolphin, and I had Debbie on my website. And Carrie drew a picture with a crayon when she was a child of Debbie, her and her mom, and they mailed the picture to me from the UK. And I was amazed that someone took the time to draw it with a crayon, a child, and they mailed it over to me. And she loved animals. And she loved all of the characters that I had created from the poetry, because I used to create animated characters from the poems that I wrote about, and I would publish them on Magic Buddies, a special website I had. And she would write and she would draw these characters, and then other kids started doing it too. But Carrie was fantastic and encouraged me to keep on creating characters. And later I developed a TV show with Debbie the Laughing Dolphin. So it was Carrie that was the inspiration for that whole line of work. I've watched you grow up, Carrie, and become a beautiful young lady with a wonderful life. Stay positive. Keep living, laughing, and loving life, and believing in your dreams. I'm watching you all the time, even though we haven't communicated in a long time. I still love everything you do, you and your mom. God bless you. And let me just give a shout out to all of the kids on the Magicneering YouTube channel. Now, we had that channel from the first time they started YouTube. And I tell you, all these kids now are grown up. They're not kids anymore. And some of you are on my Facebook page with families of your own, with children of your own. It's amazing. You know, some of you are about to have your first child. And like I said, I watch your Facebook page, so I know these things, you know, and I'm just amazed that I knew you when you were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, and now you're grown, you're adults, and you're doing well, and you're living, laughing, and loving life. And I think it's beautiful and wonderful. So thank you for the inspiration you gave me. The inspiration you gave me to be happy and to stay in touch with the magic of my inner child and to keep believing in my dreams. Just following you has helped me. So this is about, I want to say thank you to all the children. There's too many of them for me to mention, but I love you all. I love all of you. Now, there are 3 girls that I have to mention. I have to mention them by name and point them out. And I'm telling you, their names are, in no particular order, Angel, Shayla, and Bria. Those 3 girls are my nieces. Those are some girls. Those are my girls. We were like this when they were little kids, you know. And I remember Angel was 5 years old. Bria was 2 years old. And I'm not sure Shayla's age. She's the oldest. Maybe she was 7 or maybe 8. But I went over Bria's house, the 2-year-old, right? And I'm always talking to Angel and Shayla were there over her house. They're cousins and all my nieces. And I'm talking to the older girls about my poetry. And they say, hey, Uncle Mark, we're writing poetry every day. And we're going to show you how to write a book. And I was like, really? You're going to show me how to write a book? But they were amazing. They were brilliant. They were smart. And they had all kinds of ideas about how you should write a poetry book and gave me really great advice. And I was quite impressed. And then little Bria came in, and the 2-year-old says, what you talking about? And I said, oh, we're talking about Magicneering. And Bria said, oh, I know all about Magicneering. And went back to play. And it was something else to see her talk like that, because I'd always spoken to her about Magicneering. They didn't know that she was learning and remembering. But those 3 girls have such rich imaginations, such creativity, and were so much fun and inspired me to keep writing and to be happy. And they're all grown now with wonderful lives, careers, children of their own. So I have great nieces and nephews from them, and it's been brilliant. I love you, Shayla, Angel, and Bria. You're doing wonderful. Keep believing in your dreams. You're going to do great things in this world, even better than what you've done before. You're just getting started. Keep living, laughing, loving life. And thank you. Thank you for a wonderful life. Thank you. Okay, so, you know, one of my dreams, my big dreams, was to move to Hawaii. So I'm living in Lawrence, Kansas, right? I'm watching seagulls in Kansas. And I'm imagining this great big lake is the ocean. And I would watch the sunset over it every night. And I said, a person hasn't really lived until they watched 1,000 sunsets and dreamed 1,001 dreams. And I think I've probably watched 1,000 sunsets out there. And I said, I'm going to Hawaii. And I wrote about it in my books that I wanted to move to Hawaii. I wrote Hawaiian poems. And when I eventually got to Hawaii, I met a whole new generation of people in the Live, Laugh, Love movement that helped me go and create new ideas and projects. And I just got to talk about some of the people in Hawaii. There's hundreds of people. I can't get to all of you, but some of you I just have to mention here. Let's just start out. Dallin. Dallin, you know who you are. Dallin's a brilliant musician. And I wanted to create a television show, and I had all these songs about Debbie the Laughing Dolphin, who came from a magic poem from my Magicneering books, right? And she was a laughing dolphin. So I went over to Dallin's house out in the country, and he's a brilliant musician. He's surrounded by musicians and has musical kids. So it's music, literally. You walk in the house, the children are in the front room making music. And so I meet Dallin, and I shake his hand. I said, Dallin, I have a song, and I want to know if you could help me with the music. So he said, what's your song? And I said, it's called Grin Like a Dolphin. And I sung it for him. I said, it's called Grin Like a Dolphin and do it often. And he listened. He said, oh, I can play that. And he said, look at my ukulele. It's in the house. I said, man, this guy keeps an ukulele and it's laying around, right? He goes and brings it back out and he's strumming. He plays like a pro. And any song that I could sing, he could play it like that. Knew all instruments. And together we made the most wonderful musical CD. He co-produced it and did all the engineering to make a beautiful CD, played all the instruments, and all I had to do was sing the song and tell him what it was. And so because of Dallin, we were able to produce a television show with music called Debbie the Laughing Dolphin and a TV collab. So thank you for that, Dallin. I hope maybe one day we'll get to work together again. But I just thank you for being my friend. I'm watching you on Facebook. I watch your children on Facebook. I'm amazed at what they're doing. I love your family. Thank you on my heart. Oh, and Debbie the Laughing Dolphin came to life in Hawaii. So I did make it to Hawaii, right? And we did have a TV show one summer, about 5 years ago. We produced a TV show for broadcast television, ran every day. It had 1 million people watch it a week. That's what the TV station told me, 1 million people, because just the state of Hawaii. And it was amazing, but I have to thank someone where I heard there would be no Debbie the Laughing Dolphin on television, and that's Celeste. And you know why, Celeste. Thank you for all you did. I have to thank Tyler, her husband. They had just gotten married when they came to help me. And and they worked hard. So Dallin, Celeste, Tyler, and a whole crew of people, we get up early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, 6:30. Dallin would have to drive an hour and a half across the mountain to get to the beach. And it was always storming and raining when we woke up, and I would be nervous, like, oh my goodness, how can you film a TV show outside? Because we filmed it outside on the beach, right? But every time people got together, the sun would come out, a beautiful rainbow would be on the beach, and we would do Debbie the Laughing Dolphins TV show. And we couldn't do it without Celeste. We couldn't do it without Tyler. We couldn't do it without Dallin. It was so much fun. And a whole bunch of other people from Hawaii, Ohana. Hey, Debbie's not through. Let's do something together soon in the future. But I need to thank you now for being part of this movement and for living, laughing, and loving life. I love you. I love your children. I'm watching you grow up. Watching your children grow up and what they're doing. Celeste, they're beautiful. Keep making those videos of your babies. I love it. And keep living, laughing, loving life. Thank you. So after the television show, I published some more books. And these books were called Debbie the Laughing Dolphin and the Magic Day Adventures. Again, I took the poetry out of Magicneering and expanded it. And these were children's books because I had dreamed of writing books just for children. And I want to thank some of the people that were part of that because we went around the schools with these books again in the tradition of Magicneering, in the tradition of living, laughing, and loving life and helping people. We just gave the books away. And we went out in the schools and tried to encourage children to be positive and to be happy. And I have to thank all the people that were involved in that. Thank you, Mark from Beach Workout. Yep, Mark was phenomenal. He would take books to Jamaica. He gave them to all his nieces and nephews and spread it all around. It was amazing, him and his daughter. We go out into the schools there in Hawaii. And Kathy from Beach Workout, wow, she's awesome. I've got to get back to Beach Workout, get in shape again, start working out. But you guys were wonderful. I love you. I watch your Facebook pages. I watch the wonderful things you're doing. And Kathy, I love all the things your kids are doing too. I'm watching them. They're amazing. You guys keep on living, laughing, and loving life. You're an inspiration to me, and you've helped me so much in my life. Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you, Mark. And I got to say thank you to Debbie. Not Debbie Dolphin, but Debbie, the mother of Akina and Kai. You are amazing. You took the books and you gave them to everyone you knew. You would buy books and take books and mail them out all over the country. And that was amazing. And just because you believed in this live, laugh, love movement, and all of that was inspired because of Magicneering 20 years ago. That's how we had the children's books written. That's where the inspiration came from. So we just kept it evolving, kept it going in Hawaii. And so many more people, hundreds of more people in Hawaii. I would be on here all night trying to list everybody, but you know who you are. You're on my Facebook page. I watch your stories. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited today that 20 years has gone by and we're still, we're still doing wonderful things. There have been people that have been part of this whole live, laugh, love phenomenon that have passed away. So these are important people. I just want to take a few minutes to give a memorial to them. Start out with my dear friend Trish. Now, Trish and I, buddies, true friends, and we knew each other in college. And I'm older than her, or I was older than her, and every dream I had, she encouraged me. And she was a writer, and she wrote poetry long decades before I did. And when I wrote my first poem in Lawrence, Kansas, I sent it to her, and she called me and said, Mark, I'm ready to stand in line, buy your book, and stand in line, get your autograph. I said, what are you talking about? Because I didn't even think about writing a book, right? She said, your poem was brilliant. You got talent, man. Keep writing. I said, okay, and I just kept writing, and she inspired me to do that. And she inspired me to work on every dream I ever tried to accomplish. She was always saying, you can do it. Let's figure it out. And we were just the best of friends, for many, many years. We were very close. And she just was the epitome of living, laughing, and loving life. She was happy and smiling and positive and trying to live her dreams and help everyone. She helped us. But Trish was a beautiful soul. And I know you're in heaven. And thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. You know I loved you. I still love you. I always will. We see each other again in heaven. So also I want to give a memorial to my friend Bruce. Now, I mentioned Nancy earlier. I think I mentioned Nancy and Bruce, but if I didn't, Nancy and Bruce, husband and wife, my entrepreneurial role models, and Bruce was a great inspiration to me in starting a business. He was brilliant. I think he was a genius. I do. He built a magnificent company along with Nancy, and he would mentor me. And long before I wrote Magicneering, he would mentor me about how to run business and how to live a life as an entrepreneur, which I've been a dedicated entrepreneur for 30 years now. I quit corporate America to write Magicneering and move to Lawrence, Kansas and hike in the woods. That's what I did. People thought I was crazy, but that's what I wanted to do with my life. I have no regrets looking back the last 30 years, and Bruce inspired me to do that. And I just want to thank you, Bruce. I remember you, and you're a great inspiration. Whenever I had a handwritten copy or a typed copy of the manuscript of Magicneering, when I self-published it, he would say, you got a new edition? And I said, yes. He said, I want it. I need it in my life. Bring it down to the office. And he and Nancy would invite me to come to their company and speak about Magicneering to all of their employees. And they would just give the books out. They would order the books and then give the books to all of their employees. So it was great. Earlier when I told you that someone sent me on Facebook, said, hey, I got a book from Nancy and your book was phenomenal, that people are still reading, still passing the book along. So thank you, Bruce. God bless you. I want to give a memorial to my parents, and I'm going to do it separately, first starting with Mom. I'm going to say I have. She's in heaven, but I'm still connected with her, so I have a beautiful mother. And in heaven now, looking over me, and she inspired a little boy to live, laugh, and love life. She was so much fun and so happy and so wonderful, and so many people loved her. I could tell you so many stories. I would be on here for another hour just talking about my mother. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful soul. Those of you who knew my mother, my cousins, my brothers, of course my brothers and sisters, but my family and neighbors, you know what I'm talking about. She was a wonderful singer. She had a beautiful voice. And I never forget the night she passed away. I wrote about this in one of the later editions of Magicneering. I was in the hospital with her, and I hadn't had a chance to spend a lot of time with my mom when she was ill. But that particular night, I told my dad and my brothers and sisters to go home. I'm going to spend the night with my mom. And my mother had been sleeping. She was really ill. And we didn't know if she was going to open her eyes ever again. You know, the doctors had stopped even coming into the room. So I looked at my mom sleeping and I smiled. I said, Mom, I'm here and I'm going to sleep over tonight. We're going to have a sleepover. And, you know, we always joked with each other and laughed. And I just did it. I didn't know if she even heard me. And guess what? She opened her eyes wide. She opened her eyes wide and she looked at me and she smiled the most beautiful smile like this. And then she just went to sleep. And I was so excited, you know, that I got to see my mom one last time. I didn't know, but it was the last time because she went to sleep and she passed away a few hours later. But here's a beautiful woman who had been through a lot of adversity, had suffered with an illness, and she passed away with a smile on her face. And that's always been an inspiration to me, you know, to keep on going no matter what happened in life, no matter how you feel. Just keep smiling, keep living like my mom did. And so thank you, Mama. Thank you. I love you. I love you. Thank you very much. And my dad, memorial to him. I lost my dad during this whole era, last 20 years. A great man. I'm going to tell you this. In my eyes, my opinion, my dad's the greatest man I ever knew. He's a hero, a strong man. I could spend hours talking about him. So many phenomenal stories, you know. He grew up during the Great Depression. He was orphaned as a baby during the Great Depression. How you grow up in the Great Depression as a baby? Your mom dies at childbirth. Your father dies a year or two later. And he grew up. He went to World War II. He was a hero. And he was strong. He raised 8 kids, worked hard, was honest, you know, and loved us all. And I tell you, my dad was from the old school. He was a man's man, like never showing emotions, really strong and stern. But he would always be loving to those girls, my sisters, and their daughters and nephews. He would say, I love you, I love you, I love you. But to the men, he was always strong, you know, strong, straight, stoic face. Never told us boys that he loved us. We knew he loved us through his actions, but he didn't use the words, I love you. So when my father became ill, once again, I was privileged to be the last person with my father before he passed, just like I was with my mom. And I took care of my dad. I was taking care of him at the time when he was ill. And I looked at him when he was awake and I just said, Dad, I love you. And he looked at me and he said, I love you. And that was the first time he had ever said that out loud to me. And it's the most beautiful gift of my life. Because he closed his eyes and went to a deep sleep and never regained consciousness after that and shortly passed away. But it was a privilege to be able to tell my dad I loved him and that he loved me. And that's a memorial to my dad. Thank you, Dad, for all you did for me. And, you know, I'm still living, laughing, and loving life. And that's what Magicneering Live, Laugh, Love was about, is about, and will be about forever. You know, when I used to speak at Barnes & Noble and Borders and places like that back in the day, 20 years ago, the bookstore coordinator or person would always ask me, which shelf should we put these books on? Is this self-help? And I would cringe at that because there's nothing selfish about Live, Laugh, Love. This is about helping other people, giving to people, inspiring people so they would be happy, you know, live their dreams. It wasn't about you because I'm happy and I'm healthy because of all of you, every one of you that have loved me, that have encouraged me, that have been there for me, from my brothers and my sisters, from all of my friends that have given and given and given. That's why I'm happy. That's why I'm healthy. No one does it on their own. We all need each other. And I have one last story and one last person to acknowledge. Last but not least. And that's my beautiful, my wonderful wife, Vanessa. I think you can see her picture back there, over there. Yeah, there it is. My beautiful, wonderful wife, Vanessa. And I'm just going to take some extra time here. I know this is going a long time, but hey, it's been 20 years, right? It's 20 years. I've got to tell the story. So I dated my wife when we were in our early 20s, 22, 23, and we dated off and on, and we knew each other, and I did love her. She was a beauty. She was a beauty then. She's more beautiful now, but she was a beauty then. And we were fond of each other, and you know, I wanted to marry her. I did. but I was young. And I didn't know what was ahead of me. And she wanted to marry me. She would say, "When are you gonna marry me?" She would ask me that, like, kind of like jokingly, but I knew she was serious. And I said, "Oh, I don't know. You still want to marry me? When you want to marry me?" I would say stuff like that, kind of coy, teaser. But eventually, our paths parted, and we went our own ways. We had big dreams together, but we just went our own ways. No bad feelings. We didn't break up or we didn't get mad at each other. We loved each other. And I always missed Vanessa. Let me put it like that. I always missed her. And I always wondered where she was, and I always loved her. And I hadn't talked to her in decades. And I never forgot her, and I didn't have any plans to find her. But one day, I got an email from Vanessa, and she had the audacity to say, "If you remember me." I'm going, "Oh, yes, I know who you are, Vanessa, the love of my life, if I remember you." I called her right up, and we went out on a date, and it was amazing. We had parallel lives. We were separate, but we had come back together in our heart, and we still loved each other. And we did similar things. We both traveled. We both had written stories. She had written all kinds of stories and screenplays and movies. She's a creative, brilliant woman. And she had earned a patent. She was an inventor. And I've been an inventor. And I know how hard it is to even try to get a patent. She's patented. And I was just impressed with her, But let me tell you, but really put the icing on the cake. And so I'll go over Vanessa's house for a date, right? And on her wall, she has a sculpture that says, "Live, laugh, love." I go, and I'm smiling at her. I said, "You know the story behind that phrase. Let me tell you where it came from." And we just talked about it, and she loved it. Of course, she loved it, and I loved her. And how I asked her to marry me, is I remember from the old days, decades ago when we were young, when I would ask her, "Are you still going to marry me?" I was kind of teasing her. And so I did it. I just said, "When are you going to marry me?" And she said, "As soon as you ask me." And I asked her, and she said yes. And we're happy. And we're doing some great things together. We're working on our dreams together, being entrepreneurs together. And you'll hear more about that in the days to come. If you haven't seen Mark and Vanessa Eberra's business page, check that out on Facebook. And Debbie the Laughing Dolphin, she's still kicking. She's got a Facebook page. If you're not on that, check her out. I'm going to be posting things about Magicneering's commemorative, 20th anniversary. I no longer publish these books. I don't sell them. I have my own personal copies as collector's items and my original manuscripts. But I was amazed. I Googled Magicneering, and it's still on Amazon.com. It's got a life of its own. In the secondary market, people are selling this book, 20-year-old book. There's two of them out there, plus my children's book. They're selling this 20-year-old book for great prices. I guess it's a collector's item. It's amazing. So if you got the original manuscript, especially if I signed it, you probably have a valuable book there, but not for the monetary reasons. I think it's always been, for me, about helping people, about having a way of life that makes the life a better place, about being happy. And if I missed anyone on my list, I know it's hundreds of you. I know I missed so many people. I do see you on Facebook. I do watch what you do. And I'm proud of you. And I'm grateful to be your friend for all you've done for me over the years. Just being you. Just watching you. Being part of that live, laugh, love phenomenon.
I love Daddy, the laughing dolphin, the way she goes, aloha ha ha, aloha ha ha. She's my best friend. We are besties.
So, what does Magicneering mean to you?
Well, Magicneering, the word itself means the art and science of creating magic. So you have magic and you have engineering, and when you combine the two together, you get
Magicneering. And it all, is really appropriate because everything we're doing on the Magicneering television network is about teaching people, not just children and not just adults, but all people, to use their imaginations to be creative and to make their dreams come true. So when you see these types of programs and they're under the term Magicneering, it's all about creating magic.
Where did Debbie the Dolphin start?
Oh, that's pretty good. Well, I wrote a book called Magicneering Living, Laughing, and Loving Life. And then I wrote a second edition called Magicneering Living, Laughing, and Loving Life, Book 2. And in that book was a poem called I Know Why Dolphins Grin. So this was back in the 90s, a long time ago, and I would publish these poems on the internet, and people would read them and they would get very excited. They would send me emails saying, I love that poetry. I love living, laughing, and loving life, the whole concept of it. And the favorite poem out of all that work, for some reason, for all ages, was I Know Why Dolphins Grin. And that's where I got the idea to create a character that people could look at. So I drew Debbie the Laughing Dolphin, and I put her on the web. I think it was about 2000 or 2002, and she's been up there all that time, and people, they still email me. They tell me how much they love Debbie the Laughing Dolphin, all ages. And from there, we created Debbie the Laughing Dolphin. And we're out here today at Magic Island, which is really appropriate because it kind of all started here. I came to Hawaii back in the 90s for the very first time to Magic Island and met some wonderful people and was really inspired to write poetry about this island and these islands. And as a result of that, I wrote the books, Magicneering, and then as a result of that, I created Debbie the Laughing Dolphin. So it's been a long process where we started and we tried and we just evolved slowly over time. And that's how dreams really come true. It's not always about like you wake up one day and magical and your dreams are there. It's because you worked on them a long time and they evolved over time and you tried different things. And I hope that when we put this network on the air, the Magicneering television network, and Debbie the Laughing Dolphin is on the air so everyone can love her, not just people on the internet, then it will inspire people to believe in their dreams and get in touch with the magic of their inner child. That's what it's all about. So it means a lot to me. You ask me what it means to me. It's my life's work, and I'm very happy to be living my dream, to be living in Hawaii and actually having this fun of bringing Debbie to television, which will be very soon now. Super cutie, Debbie, go! Got herself a Debbie Dolphin Club on TV. Dancing in the sand to a ukulele band on Waikiki. I love Debbie, we are besties. Don't you wanna be one? Don't you wanna be? I love Debbie, the laughing dolphin. The way she goes, aloha ha ha.